Hello, welcome to JAV Show. This is Jorge.
And this is Viv.
And this week is just us. We're going to have a chilled week. I
Hi,
think we'd
guys.
have two pretty chaotic weeks before this podcast. And then back to normal.
Double guest, double recording.
Yeah, I actually struggle with the double recording sometimes. It's so hard to try to get them to, like, there's a flow of conversation.
Yeah.
But you try to get them to, like, be conscious of the mic situation. Just because we don't have, like, a super, like, big setup or anything where we can accommodate for, like, 4 mics or anything like that. But I think, like, very, very rare do many podcasts can accommodate that many anyways and still have, like, decent sound quality.
I think they're really good at projecting their voices.
Yeah, but then it echoes a lot because it'll project into, like,
I did notice the echoing on the screen.
Yeah, I can't do much about that at that point. I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, if my space was, like, double the size, like, if you were to think about my table and make it, like, 2x wider.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, 1.5x longer.
Yeah, we sit on opposite sides.
Yeah, that's literally, like, a living room. Like, an entire living room you would need just to get that set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then pray that the wall angles and shit doesn't cause, like, too much echo between the walls and stuff. That's tough. That's a rough one.
It was pretty fun, though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, I think the first one was a lot more chaotic.
Oh, it was. I freaking loved it, though. I felt like my brain was on fire in a good way.
I personally like going in depth with topics a bit more, but that one was impossible. It's like, it was just like running everywhere. It's like you try to like bring it back to a topic and there's no way.
And
it's like, it's gone
keep
already.
running.
Yeah. But it, like, to me,
We're doing
it's
a relay weight
to
race.
me, it's not as fun because I like to, you know, like really talk details and like get your thoughts on it and like understand why you think it like it and then explain why I think differently and then kind of like meld them together and figure out, oh, what's a better idea.
Yes.
Right. That's why I usually
Instead
like to
of
do.
just dipping in here, dipping in there, talk about this topic and be like, oh my god, and this one, and then that one.
Because sometimes I think about like the listener a little bit on that part. Because it's like, I wonder what they're hearing here, right? You know what I mean? Because it's so chaotic. Right?
You're right. It was.
Right?
It was.
If it was like restricted to 3 topics and we actually stayed on topic, I feel like a little bit more value is put in. Just because there's more details that you can come out of that, right?
That's true.
Whereas if it was just bouncing everywhere, then you're just hoping that the fucking... Because, like, the listener might tune out for, like, 30 seconds. All of a sudden, we're talking about something else, right? And it's just, like, super confusing.
Oh, yes. I can see that. Or they might hear something and they're like, oh, shit, I want to hear their thoughts on this.
Yeah.
And we drop it 2 seconds later.
Yeah, exactly. So that might be rough. So I was, like, thinking, oh, fuck, how do we do... I think the second one we did was a bit more structured, slightly.
Yes.
But, like, not crazy. Not a lot more, but just slightly.
I would imagine if somebody had ADHD... then this kind of conversation would really scratch the itch in their brain because we talked so fast. We just kept running with whatever topic came by and it was literally like a relay race and we just did not stop.
Okay, so you think you have ADHD, right?
I would assume so.
So
I feel like I do.
How do you deal with things that you really, really want to know more about?
Oh, I like hyper focus and go fucking deep into it.
Yeah, so that's what I think too. I think the stereotype of ADHD is that they just like do 50 different things at like whatever interval. But I actually think someone with ADHD has a general attention disorder, not necessarily a deficit, just like a general one.
I think
they're just not normal in that. So then if they found a topic they really like, they would really want to talk about it and get the details about it, right?
I agree. I feel like people are mixing up ADHD with ADD. And ADD is attention deficit disorder.
Okay.
And then ADHD is...
I thought they were the same.
No. ADHD is more so described the same way that...
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? What's ADD? ADD is an outdated term sometimes used for an inattentive type personality. Attention. That's also ADHD. Yeah, they're the same thing.
They are.
But I don't know. I feel like if that person with ADHD found something they really liked, then they won't present the typical symptoms of ADHD anymore.
I feel like it can be better explained the way that you explained it, where you have a different way of navigating your attention. So either it's chaotic sometimes or it's just laser focused on one thing versus I would imagine people who are more so normal in this sense, they don't have that chaotic side of their attention, and they don't get as hyper focused on something.
So the highs and lows are a little bit more tapered down.
Yes.
I see. I mean, yeah, like, I don't think I have it, but I can very easily get that laser focus on something.
Yeah.
Very, very easily for me.
Flow mode.
Yeah, if I really like that thing. So that's why I was like, I don't know if people just think they have ADHD just because it's quote unquote like a popular term, or if it's something else, right? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you met someone who had a crazy disorder like that to the extreme, then you could maybe say that it's ADHD, and everyone else would have, say, a mild version. But at that point, it's like, dude, are you just like saying you have something just to be cool or something?
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like there's definitely a spectrum. You could be someone who's really good at focusing on things, and to a point, it's kind of like that pile of sand idea, where you have to define a certain point for where it's considered hyper focus or hyper fixation versus just really good at focusing.
That's true. Okay, yeah. That's the right way of thinking about it too. Well, I just think like everyone kind of has that, but I've never met someone that it's been that bad where it affects their life. Because I assume at the point of disorder, it would like affect your life negatively, right? Like I actually can't even think of a proper example, but it's like you don't have a porn addiction unless it affects your life like super negatively, right? Or like alcoholism, like, yeah, you could drink a lot and shit, but unless it's like truly affecting like, you know, your relationships and your career and all that other shit, then it's probably just like a social thing or a casual thing, right?
Or you just really fucking like alcohol.
Yeah, which is fine too. Like there's sommeliers for everything, right? So yeah, no, I did wonder about that because I was like, I don't follow it too much, and for me it was kind of tough because like you guys were fucking going off the rails, and I was just like, dude, like, so there's some topics I was like, oh, I kind of want to like discuss this a bit more. Yeah, that was like fucking 3 conversations ago, so I was like, I guess we'll pass on this one till next time.
What were some of the conversations you wanted to dig deeper on? If you can remember any.
Yeah, like I felt the pyramid one. I wish we went a little bit deeper.
Okay, let's tap into that after.
I wish the UFO one, or just aliens in general, just a bit more. I think that's a really cool concept. Especially just because recently I listened to a podcast about like space travel and black holes and all this shit. And I was like, oh
my god, which podcast is this?
Brian Cox with Joe Rogan.
So it's always Brian Cox.
Yeah, he's a smart motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's just such a smart motherfucker because he can distill such complex shit into understandable terms. Right, and then some of the election, I felt like I kind of want to dive a bit deeper into that, but I think we kind of jumped off the wazoo after like.
Really, I felt like we dived kind of deep into the election stuff. I didn't really have much to add because I'm not that into politics. And what each party stands for and everything, so I didn't really have much to add, so I felt like that actually lasted quite a long time.
Oh, I see. I felt like there was some cool theories you could throw in, maybe some conspiracy theories too. That was kind of fun for the election stuff. I felt like some of the okay, I'll try to be honest here, and maybe I should tell our friends before I be completely honest, but I felt sometimes it was a little too ranty. But that being said, I feel like our friends that came on the show, they don't have this outlet all the time. So they want to talk a bit more and they want to rant a bit more about like how they think and how they feel, which is fair because we do it all the time. So we have a lesser desire to do it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas other people, especially people who are super extroverted and like really cool into this idea, they want to do it a bit more, right? So I kind of understand. It's like, okay, yeah, but for my liking, I was it's a little bit ranty kind of thing, but it's fine.
Well, I kind of saw it as they were just really opinionated and they had something to say.
Yeah, they're super passionate about it.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between having something to say about a specific topic and having something to say about me on a specific topic. That's how I felt.
What do you mean?
Like, you could generalize the situation instead of just saying like, you know, this should happen to me and stuff like that. That part, a little bit ranty.
I can see what you mean.
But that's fine. Like, I was like, oh, okay. I was just not used to it because we always have guests that are a lot more shy.
How would you differentiate ranting and sharing your experience or your thoughts about something, even when it pertains to yourself?
Because I think some of and it could be the specific topics, but it felt like there's a lot of like social justice to it, where I felt like, oh man, like to me, it's not my area of expertise. So I felt like, oh, it's just kind of just ranty, or no, like it's not usually what we talk about too. Like we don't get deep into those type of things. And I felt like the only way you can get into it is if you connect a lot with it. And then it felt like, oh, you have to kind of rant about your own experience a little bit to like really explain it properly. But that's fine too. Like I was okay, because like sometimes there's like a bit longer monologues in our podcast before, where someone's like trying to explain something very, very in depth using like all these different things. And it's cool. It's cool to have those different types of styles, because with most people, like almost none of our other guests ever does that.
Yeah, not a lot of our guests are really that, or often that passionate. About certain topics.
So that was really cool. I actually love that part. I was like, oh, that's sick. I actually really like to hear about it. But then it's hard because some of the stuff they talk about, or when they end their monologue, it's almost like, here's the end of the essay. Whereas like in a podcast, you have to keep it open-ended at the end. Yeah. It's like, what do you think about specific that? Without saying what do you think about that, you have to like hint what do you think about that, or like it's almost like inviting you into the conversation with
have a general conclusion, saying this is perhaps how we feel, versus fuck you.
No, exactly. I mean, it felt like the end of a true statement, right? Whereas I think a lot of times, at least the most flowy conversations we've ever had with other people, it's like every statement we make has like a way to invite someone else into the statement, which is cool. I felt like that was like a cool learning experience for me, because we haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, I did like it though. I really like how they were so opinionated and really had their stance on things. Yeah. It was a nice change.
Yeah, nice change of pace. It's also nice, like instead of me trying to pull people in, me or you trying to pull people in, they're just they're just doing their own thing too. So like they're also themselves jumping from topic to topic, and it's just like, oh, that's fine. Like that's just less work for me, right?
Yeah,
which was nice.
Awesome.
Anyways, how has your weeks been?
Mine actually has been really chill, really pretty basic. I have mostly just been working a lot actually. I've been kind of stressed at work.
Oh really? Why? What is that?
I have a lot of projects and a lot of meetings, and a lot of the projects, for some reason, a lot of the projects that I get have really short timelines, or whenever somebody's falling behind on a project and they're like, shit, we need someone to be the like right hand man or the saving grace or whatever. Oh, let's call Viv into this project.
That's a good reputation to have, I assume.
I guess so, but then it's also kind of stressful. Like literally, I think it was yesterday, I added 7 more meetings onto my week for next week.
Yeah.
On top of all the meetings that I already had. Like if you looked at my calendar, I had at least 2 meetings for every day already.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's so much work, and I still have projects to do. So on top of the meetings, I still need to get my work done.
Yeah.
And these are all mandatory meetings.
Really? Are they mandatory? I've always had the concept about like thinking about that properly.
Right, but then all of them are. Because some of them are, I need to review this with my team.
Yeah.
I need to do this with this. I need to review what this team member has done with that person and with my boss and blah, blah, blah. I guess part of this is because like I'm a team leader, so I have to do these things and I can't avoid these.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot.
Damn, that sounds rough.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm lucky because I haven't had to manage many people so far. And like, for example, when you manage a contractor, it's like you just don't really give as much of a care, as in like, here's the work, go do the work. Like you're contracted to do this work, you have the expertise to do this work, here's the work, right?
Yeah.
Then you just have to manage that. Okay, are they doing it on time? Are they doing it to the quality that you need? Whereas I assume if you had people under you, you kind of have to like care about who the fuck they are still, and all that stuff like that, right? Whereas like a contractor should be like, yo, like get it done. That's it, right? Like this is how much you get paid to get it done. Go and get it done, right?
Something that I thought was kind of strange too was because I'm doing this debriefing thing on a project with 3 people that are on my team.
Yeah.
And I created a meeting with them because I need their input on how they did this project from another project. And then so I have a meeting with each of them with my boss 3 times, and then I'm going over their work and everything that we met during the meeting, because we're doing a live project building thing during the meeting. And so after that meeting, it's me, a team member, my boss, and my supervisor that's in that meeting, and then I'm holding another meeting with me and that team member just to go over that live project that we did. And in the meeting notes, I put in, okay, this is what we're going to do this meeting. We're going to review this. We're going to go over this. These are the things you need to prepare. And then in the second meeting note, where I'm going over the live meeting project with my team member, I put in the notes like, okay, we're going to go over everything that happened in the last meeting. These are the points I'm going to look for. These are the things I'm going to ask about. Just like, this is how you're prepared for this meeting. All 3 of them called me right after and was like, hey, so what's going on? I'm like, I swear these meeting notes are so descriptive already. I literally pretty much repeated everything that was in the meeting notes, and they're like, okay, I got it. And I was like, that's wasting so much of my time.
Damn. Do you think it's a little bit of the yes man in you that's causing this issue?
What do you mean? Picking up the calls instead of being like, read the meeting notes?
Yeah, shit like that, actually. Legit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, that's actually what I think. Yeah, that's a really good description.
I really could have. But I think that even if I told them to read the meeting notes, after I had the call with them, I realized that they would still have called me after. Because when I was telling them, I was literally reading off the meeting notes and like, oh, okay, I get it. But then they had so many more questions and they were like, oh, give me an example, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like even if I messaged them was like, hey, just read the meeting notes, they'll still call me or still have 5 more questions and say like, oh, can you give me an example? Or like, what do you mean with what client? Or how are you going to reproduce this project? Or what project are you talking about specifically? And I was like, oh, it is actually quicker if I hopped on a call.
I guess it's probably because you guys are doing pretty new shit too then, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like most of the companies I've worked for, it's like they've built these processes from like a long time ago already, and then you just have to like, update, renew them, make them better.
It's for sure new. I'm the person that created this entire process and everything, and I'm doing 3 people on my team that haven't gone through the process essentially.
Yeah, so then that kind of makes it tough. I mean, it's cool. I mean, if you like what you're doing, that's really good.
It's not bad.
You'll become the ultimate project manager.
Oh yeah, I fucking love it.
It's a trait that, it's a thing that you get paid pretty good for, I assume. Project managing and stuff.
But aside from work, I'm working on my side business. That's been going really well.
Oh, nice.
I put in a solid 10 hours last weekend just working away on it.
Oh, nice.
And then
what is this said side business?
I think I don't want to say it on the air.
Oh, okay.
But I think I've mentioned it to you before, probably.
Fair enough.
But it's going to take a long time. It's a lot of work to get this thing off the ground. Right. But aside from that, yeah, I've just been heads down focusing on work.
Do you ever think about like vacation or anything like that?
No. The next vacation that I have is in January.
Oh, where are you going?
Going to Cancun.
Oh, nice. Oh, this is for your friend's wedding, right? That's good.
But otherwise, I feel like whenever I feel like I have spare time, I just think I should be working on my biz. To make sure that all the money I invested in it does not just die.
Yeah. So create something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Very admirable. Very adult-like is what I assume adult life should be.
Yeah.
Mine's been super chilled. How's volleyball been for you? And your knee and shit?
Oh my god, I've been taping on my knee. I've been wearing my Bauer Fiend knee brace every single time I play, and lately I feel like it still hurts while I play and afterwards, so I started taping up my knee underneath that too. And then I feel like perhaps I've also been going slightly harder in the gym because my knee doesn't hurt as much, but maybe I haven't found the balance yet.
So your knee doesn't hurt as much outside of volleyball, but during volleyball it hurts a lot? Or more?
Outside of volleyball it hurts. It's starting to hurt more. So I actually took volleyball off yesterday because my knee was hurting a little bit too much. And I've been tuning back the weights at the gym. Yeah, that's it. And then next season, I'm only playing 1 day a week, which is going to be completely new because I think I've only played. I think the last time I played 1 day a week was like 5 years ago or some shit.
Yeah, you usually go like 2 or 3 per season, every fucking season. That's crazy. I mean, I've been doing 1 a week for like, I think the last year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that. I think at least 2 years. It's great.
I feel like I'm going to have a fuckload of time now.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe, possibly. It just depends, like how much time you have at work and all that other stuff. And
that's true. But like if you take out 4 hours a week, I feel like that's quite a bit.
Yeah, your days must be fucking packed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, like I feel like I'm kind of busy, but I don't do as much as you at all. Not even close. In my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, work's been chilled. Working on the same project still. Gonna go new position soon. I'll get a lot busier compared to now when I do. But I don't know. I feel like for some reason I won't get as busy as you probably. Just for some reason.
Do you ever think that maybe you're better at handling a larger workload? That could be the case. Like to you, it doesn't feel busy. Maybe to me, it feels like insanely busy.
I don't know.
That's a possibility.
Like anytime I ever do any work, within like the first like month or two, I just try to find a faster way of doing it, and I usually succeed in that within the first month or two.
Yeah.
And then whatever their expectation is on my workload, it just goes away from me because I was like, I don't know. I usually just find some other way of doing it, or I just do it their way but faster.
I'm just better.
No. And then I just end up doing whatever else. Because then like I could ask for more work, but then sometimes it's kind of it gets into a weird position because you can kind of like ask for more and do a bit more, but then you also don't want to get too overloaded. So it's like,
bro, like 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago, probably like last month.
Yeah.
There were days when I was like, oh, I actually have like almost nothing to do. I'm so bored. Literally everything is like good to go, on track, fucking everything. And I messaged my boss, or not messaged, during one of my one-on-ones. I was like, do you guys have more projects? Literally just like give me more. I'm so bored.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of half regret it now because literally yesterday I had a meeting with one of the co-owners, and he's like, all right, we're going to roll out this new program. We're going to continue this part of it. We're going to do this. We just bought 2 more companies that we're going to put under the umbrella. So I want you to be in charge of this sector and this field. I want you to roll out this plan and make a plan for this. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like if you saw my Teams message from him, because I was like, hey, can you actually just like, I get everything that you're saying verbally. I'm writing everything down, but I work really well by seeing everything. And then I like showed him everything that I had written down for everything he asked me to do. Yeah. And he was just like, all right, I'm just going to also, I have it all written down on my side too. I'm just going to share with you everything. Yeah. And if you saw the fucking message that he sent me for everything, like all the plans I need to do, everything that I need to tap into for the next 3 months, it's literally my screen. I had my Teams message open and it covered the entire screen. It literally, his message took up the entire screen. Yeah. I was like, holy fucking shit. Oh my god. And I kept his message up on my screen the whole time while I was doing my planner and like writing out my task and my little cards and shit like that, putting down my due dates. It was fucking crazy.
I mean, that's good on you. Like for me, like I've had those experiences where I was bored, I got some more work, and then they kept piling it until you say something. Mm-hmm. And then they also don't understand how much work it might be.
Yeah.
So then that's why like I kind of just, and this is me coasting, but I kind of like accept the slow days a little bit, and then just so I know it's gonna make up for the super crazy days I have. So then when I have to work more, I'm like more willing to, because I'm like, oh, okay, I already had like 1 or 2 slow days. I'm okay to do like a really fast day kind of thing, just to balance it out.
They definitely don't know how much work it takes, because when I was doing my planner cards and I was writing down all the due dates for everything, and I was putting in my calendar saying like, okay, I want to do this on this day, I want to do this on this day, I want to make sure I can finish this task by this day and all that stuff, I kept messaging them back and forth and I was like, hey, I actually think I'm gonna need this much time for this, or like, when do you want this to be done? I think I have to do this into 3 parts, blah 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 blah. It was crazy.
Yeah, that seems insane. I mean, the other thing too is like, because all your processes are so new.
Yeah. So a lot of it, it's like, oh, can you help us just think of the whole process?
Yeah, like you've never done it before, right? Yeah. So it's kind of rough. Whereas like a lot of the stuff that we do or that my company does in consulting, we have like set standards of how long it usually takes. And then we always have contingencies above that already.
Oh yeah. No.
So it's like what they'll give you to do would be on record. It'll take 8 hours to do, but honestly it takes like 3. Yeah. And then they'll give that to you. And then it's kind of like, I could, do a little bit more, ask for more work and shit, but then they're not going to give me shit until other stuff comes in, right? So then, yeah, I don't know. But it is, I think it is better to work for like a smaller company and learn all that shit first and then integrate yourself into like a bigger, though bigger companies usually have like a bit more stability and shit and better pay and things like that, right? Yeah. So it's like to get the best of both worlds, you want to start small and then go big.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but for me, no, not that busy. My boss said he's gonna be really sad when I go because I'm leaving a different position, but I'm not really leaving. So we're kind of sorting that out. It should be good after though. I think he'll. I'm still okay to where I'm like. The other thing, like what you said, it's like I kind of bank some of these things because I know that I'm still kind of on the team, and then I won't get any fucking OT if I don't finish. If I finish everything, which is impossible because a lot of my stuff depends on their data and things like that. It's kind of like overworking too early, if that makes sense.
No, what do you mean?
So I get that we should be like prepared and ready and prepare everything you can prior to it happening so then you can be best. You have the best ability to finish whatever that needs to be done, but sometimes when you over create something too early, by the time you get to the stage that's actually required, the design requirements are completely different now, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. So
then it's like, no, I'm not going to do this until I get this data because I'm just like thinking of all these contingencies, which might take me 8 hours, whereas once I get the data, it'll take me 1 hour. Right. So it's like, it doesn't even make sense for me to do it right now. It's just a waste of my current time.
Yeah.
So usually I use that time to like study other shit while I wait for the other data come in.
Well, then when your other projects come in, you're a little bit more prepared, right? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, well, yeah, it just depends. Yeah, like if you do that super crazy prep, it does probably help you somewhere in the future. But I forgot where I heard this theory. It's just like the recency kind of matters. So like, don't study for an exam that you're going to do in 3 months all right now. You can study it throughout time, but ramp it up closer to the time that it actually needs to be due. So then the information is fresh in your head. Right. And that same with now. I don't think everyone should follow this, but I kind of follow it. It's like, it's same with certain meetings too. So it's like me prepping for this meeting, I could prep for it a week before, but by the time the meeting comes, I'm going to almost forget half the shit I prepped. So if I do some small prep a week before and then I ramp up my preparation till the day of the meeting, then everything's fresh in my head as soon as I walk into the meeting. Then I have every single answer they'll ever possibly ask, right? So then instead of doing the 8 hours last week and then another 8 hours this week to prep for this thing, I would do like 3 hours last week and 8 hours this week, but more closer to the event. That's usually how I kind of work with stuff. So it's like, maybe that's also why I don't stress about shit too much, because it's like, oh, it's just,
it's gonna come when it comes.
I shouldn't overthink it too much, kind of thing. But at the same time, I know some, say, quote unquote project manager will say that's not good. You should be prepared for everything and stuff like that. It's tough to say.
It's whatever works.
Because like sometimes at our work, I'll have some spare time, and then later on something will go wrong with like that thing we're buying, right? Something so obscure that you can't really plan for it. Then it's like, it didn't matter how much spare time I had. You can't think of something that you had no idea was going to happen. Like, for example, shipping took 8 weeks instead of 2 weeks. Like, I couldn't have known that this entire year it took 2 weeks throughout the whole year. Yeah. That's nothing I can like truly plan for.
It's nothing you can control either.
Yeah. So then a lot of times, like from my experience with construction, I feel like sometimes it gets stressed too hard on how early you should do shit. Like sometimes the schedule's just fucked. Like they just don't give you the right amount of time. So for example, like they give you a deliverable that you have to turn around within a day. That's like not reasonable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? So then you tell them like, I need this deliverable by this date, right? Knowing that you can do it in a day, but getting at that date gives you a week to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then every day they push out, you just say, okay, I'm going to push my schedule out too by a week, right? So then that's why in a lot of the work we do, it's so schedule focused, because we can just go back to the client and be like, no, we need more money because you said you'll be done this by this day and we're waiting this long. Right? I don't know if it's the right mindset or not, because I think I've coasted a bit, but it is what it is.
I mean, it seems like you're still growing even though you're coasting.
Nah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I wish I had that passion like you have to like. Just
I don't know, with the passion.
Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the work ethic. I feel like I don't have the work ethic. Maybe.
I think you do.
Like
I think you have one of the best work ethics I've seen out of most people I know.
I feel like, okay, when I talk to people, everyone that talks to me, when I discuss with them, it seems like they're doing so much work, and to me, I'm just like, I feel like I'm doing fucking dick all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing shit all at work. Like, it's tough to say because I thought the same when I was doing construction. But then near the end, when I was about to leave and people asked me questions, I could like answer them fully. Like as an expert would answer them, right? So then near the end, I started realizing, oh shit, I actually did learn a lot throughout this whole time. But in my opinion, that entire time, I felt like I was doing nothing. Like, I'll learn something. I feel
like your standards are just too high.
No, I feel like I'll learn something from like just some random tradesperson. And then when they teach it to me, I'm like, oh, that's so obvious, of course, right? And then I would do that throughout the days, and then all of a sudden I'll like compile this knowledge base, and then when someone asks me, I'll like explain all the shit I just learned, right? And then they're like, oh wow, you're so good at this shit. I was like, dude, I feel like I did dick all. Like, I'm just fucking walking around looking at shit, talking to people, and
but being able to absorb and transform knowledge is a lot too, and find ways to apply it and be able to reiterate it to someone so someone else can understand it. That is a lot.
Kind of. I feel like I personally still have like a work ethic issue sometimes.
Wow, that's insane to me.
No, like for example, today. Okay, yeah, this is actually really bad examples, but it goes back to my boss where he thinks the shit I'm doing is so fucking hard. So when I do it, and I do it within an hour or two, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. Yeah, this is exactly what we want." And then he'll just like end the call. He was like, "Okay, yeah, well, I'll see you next week." I was like, "Okay," and then I was like, I have nothing else to do now. So I was like, I'm just gonna go and do some other random shit on my computer then.
That means you're amazing at your role.
No, but I think it's just because his expectations are not like his idea of what it takes to do it is so high. Whereas in reality, I was like, oh no, this is not that bad actually. Does that kind of make and
do you think other people in your role would think the same thing as you were?
I think if someone developed just as much as I did on this project or on any other projects, they would think like what I think as, oh, this is pretty easy. But I do agree that the common person, it's like before Excel was created, if you showed them what Excel did, you'd be like, holy fuck, this is the most life-changing tool in the world, right? That's what they think of some of my shit that I'm doing. And I'm just like, dude, this is just not that bad. Like, I feel like you guys could learn. Like, when I took this role, I always thought that, oh, my job is to learn this stuff, and then you guys already kind of know the software, and then I'm just going to teach you a little bit of the very specialized portion of the software. Yeah. But in reality, no one knows how to use it.
It's amazing.
Like,
it's literally the perfect situation to be in.
Yeah, I know, but it's so weird because like, I feel like I'm coasting because I feel like I'm not doing much, but to them, they think I'm doing a lot because like, oh, you know, they see these like crazy, like 10 different codes that I'm using to do all this shit.
But are you really coasting if you're consistently learning and doing all this new Power BI stuff? No, you are not. And from the perspective of the people that write you your paycheck and vouch for your career, they think you're fucking a superstar.
Yeah, kind of.
In a very niche field. This is like the perfect situation to be in, so you can learn at your own pace because you have all the spare time.
Yeah.
But you're also seen from everyone else as, holy shit, this guy's fucking knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, but then it feels like this feels like the ideal case of imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah,
like this is like the complete definition
for
of
sure,
it.
For sure.
So then to me, I feel like I'm doing shit all because I was like, dude, the stuff you're doing or the stuff I'm doing for you guys, it literally takes a little bit of Google and a little bit of learning, and then you can figure it out.
But clearly, that little bit of Googling, little bit of figuring out is very hard.
I mean, I think they're not willing to go through, because like a lot of times when people get stuck in this shit,
yeah,
I feel like if I had a different mindset, they wouldn't be able to go through the same shit. But I don't know. It's just it's the whole like obsessive thing. So it's like, for example, if the thing didn't work, people won't go to the extent sometimes that I would, where I would like go down to like the row level details and like literally like, you know, use a calculator and punch shit in, like do it manually to figure out exactly where the error is, right? They would just kind of like give up, move on to something else, and then maybe fix it later.
This is probably why your boss trusts you so much.
I mean, like I said, I think it's not justified, because there's still times I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now.
But then you figure it out.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. And I think, I don't know, I think there's something about like older people, or like my managers who are generally older, and software. They just always think it's so fucking hard. Because like when I learned like some of the analysis software and stuff,
yeah,
like my boss was, oh yeah, this is really great, we can like definitely use this in the future. I was like, dude, I have no idea who the fuck would use this. I kind of know how to use it, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say like, oh, this is the exact way of doing it, right? Like for example, I think in work, a lot of the learning you do is taking something that someone else did, learning what they did to get their result, and knowing that their result is true. As in like, hey, this is a project that was successful. Yeah. This was the form that we use for this thing. You just take it, you copy paste, you do your own, and then you just fill it out, right? And then after enough of those situations, you kind of learn the process of the company, right? But in a lot of these cases where you use like new software and shit, I'm like, I don't know how right I am.
Bro, that's literally me too.
I was like, I have no idea how correct this is. I'm just gonna give it to you.
That's what I do. I'm like, does this look okay? And they're like, I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, I mean, let's try it. I fucking guess.
Yeah. So then when it gets to like really mechanical heavy shit,
yeah,
I was like, I think this is the way to do it. And then I'll like, you know, do my due diligence. I'll do all the calcs and all this shit. And then I'll show my boss or something. And then he'll take like less than half an hour. I literally just walk back downstairs from his office and shit. And like 20 minutes later, he's like, oh yeah, everything looks great. I'm going to sign off on it. I was like, I don't know.
Your boss is like, stop fucking calling me.
I was like, did you even read it? Because I'm actually not sure if this works. But if you're okay signing it, I guess we're okay. Right, because like for me, it'd be like the first time doing it, right?
That is exactly what happens to me. And then in my emails, if you see a lot of my email correspondence to my supervisor, my boss, I'm always like, hey, can someone review this?
Yeah,
like,
no
I'm done, but can someone see it? They're like, looks great, Vivian. And I'm like, can you respond to my specific questions about specific parts? And they're like, yeah, it looks great. And then I'll like have a one-on-one meeting, and I'm like, so can you actually give me a response? Because it seems good, but like if we roll this out and it's not good, it's going to delay us by a bit. And they're like, okay, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, obviously I think it's fine, but you guys should know more. And they're like, well, if you think it's fine, then we think it's fine. I'm like, all right.
Actually, so to be honest, that's how I felt like when I was in construction. A lot of times I would go out there and then the foreman would be like, you know, installing some shit, and they'd be like, hey, how does it look? I was like, I just like look at the drawing, look at it, I was like, looks like the drawing. And then I'll go back to my boss and was like, how'd they do? I was like, they did great.
They did the drawing.
Yeah. And then something would fuck up later. But in so many cases, it was like something you can't predict.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, like 5 steps away, the designer fucked this up, that put this thing here, that got in our way of doing this thing. Yeah. Right. And then I'll just tell my boss about it. He's like, okay, just go and fix it. And then I would go and fix it, as in like I'll go in the field and I'll be like, put it over there. And then they're like, okay. And then that's it. And then I was like, put it over there. And then I'll like take a picture and then I'll send it to like the engineers, and then I'll like give them explanation. I'll be like, we need it over here. And they'll be like, okay. I was like, all right.
Like, this man's a genius.
So then
let's take over the moon.
That happens so many times where I'm just like, okay. At some point, I was like, I don't think anyone gives a fuck. I'm just gonna do my own thing to a certain extent until someone gives a fuck. It just actually, for me, it feels the worst when something does mess up and it's like your fault. But you're obviously learning still, right? Like I sometimes harp on it a lot. Like sometimes,
me too. I'm like, I'm getting fired today.
Yeah, like sometimes I actually lose sleep over some of that shit. As in, like I'll think about it before we go to bed, and I'll just like consume my mind.
Oh yeah, I get it.
But I've learned to always know, like, dude, like 2 months later, you're just gonna be laughing at this because it's gonna be nothing compared to whatever else, right? So just move on and like figure it out.
I think something that I have a hard time understanding and processing for myself is whenever I mess up at work, I'm like, okay, this is the end. This is where I'm gonna get fired. Even though it's not a big deal, and they're like, or it's not 100% my fault. If it's because I need a correspondence from this person and that person or whatever it is, I always think, oh my god, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm done for.
Like for me, yes, very similar for me. I'll be very quick to admit it though. Like I tell them right, I was like, yo, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'll just tell my boss like, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out usually, but usually for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. But the nice part about like being at my level and stuff, especially in the consulting world, because I'm pretty junior in that stage, they kind of just take it on themselves. They'll be like, yeah, he fucked up, but maybe we should supervise more on that type of thing for it to not happen. So then I was like, yeah, okay, fine. So then they don't take it as seriously and shit. So I was like, okay, fine. It's nice that, you know, you're not going to fire me over this thing. But there has been some fuck ups before.
Yeah, me too.
And it's hard. Like, my first thought, especially in like when I was more immature, is always like, okay, who the fuck can we blame this on?
Oh no.
But later on, I'm just like, I'm just gonna take the fall every time. Like, fuck this. Like, it's not worth making it anything else other than my fault, because I know just like make it more complex.
Yeah, feels pretty bad when they're like, we really needed this project to work by this date. It's really disappointing. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Actually, okay, what I struggle the most with at work, and I'm not sure if other people share this or not, is just pure ambiguity. Like, if anything's not ambiguous, it goes back to the whole complex and complicated thing I've talked about before, right? Something can be very complex, like your car engine, but it can still be solved. Something complicated would be like the U.S. election, for example. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. There's so many factors. It's just straight complicated, right? I hope I'm using the two terminologies correct: complicated and complex. So I have no issues ever, or very little issues with complex problems.
Yes.
But when it gets to the ambiguous part, the complicated part, where like I'm not given exactly like, oh, hey, do this, then I have issues with it, because I'm just wasting. I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Like, you're being too ambiguous.
Do you ask a lot of questions? I ask a fuck ton of questions.
It's hard in very, very big meetings. Like, I always have to do sidebar after the meeting with someone.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Yeah, but like during big meetings, I'm just like, sure. They're like, oh, yeah, Alvin, can you do this? I was like, yeah. Like in my head, I'm saying like theoretically, yes. But I don't know what the fuck you actually want me to do. But then in the meeting, I'm just like, yeah, I think it can be done.
Oh, I say things like that too, where I'll be like, yeah, I do have a few questions, but I'll connect with you afterwards to talk about those, or to go over those questions, blah blah blah. And
then the people I work best with are the ones who have been in my position. So they kind of know exactly what like advice to give me to get it done. Even though they may not know how to do it, they'll know the advice or the direction to steer me, which is kind of nice. Which is also why I've always valued, and this goes back to our conversation the other week, the quote unquote NPCs, where it's like the people who actually did the fucking grunt work, because they know exactly the struggle they got through to do that grunt work. So then if they had to like show or teach someone, they know the exact words and examples to use because they've done it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I always find. It's like when they make it way too ambiguous, it's just like sometimes people make it ambiguous because they don't want to make a decision.
Yeah.
So they make it ambiguous. That's just a cop-out in my opinion. Because for me, I'm like, dude, if you're the fucking leader, the manager or whatever, just say what the fuck you think it is. Unfortunately, if we fail, it's your fault. But if we succeed, it's also your fault. So that's the whole point of being the leader, right? Is that you're going to take the fall, or you're going to take the most praise, whether if it's not like, obviously a good leader would, praise all the people that work under them first, right? But at the end of the day, from the very, very higher up, the leader will get the best rewards and the worst consequences. Yeah. And it's just a responsibility that they have to take, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, to me, I'm just like in my head thinking to the managers, like, just fucking make the decision, like make the call, say exactly what you want us to do instead of being so like wishy-washy.
Just tell me.
Yeah, because it's like it is a strategic decision sometimes, and it should be, right? It should be like, we should go in this direction, and if you're wrong, then say you're wrong, and we'll move on to something else instead of like wasting time with, I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I'm going to research what I think I should be doing, and then it's not matching what you want me to do. Right?
I agree. I always ask so many questions. I'm like, okay, like, do you want this from this date, or what do you mean by this? Do you mean exactly this? And if they're like, oh, just figure it out, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna use my best decision making skills or my best judgment to do this, but I'll go over the project afterwards with you for this specific part to see what you think about it, blah blah blah. But sometimes even that doesn't work, because sometimes after I review it with them, they're like, yeah, sure. I'm like, fuck, okay.
Just make.
And then there's been a time when it's fucked up, and then my one boss was like, yeah, this is very disappointing results, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I feel even bolder in those situations, because there has been times, like, for example, I directed something and I fucked up later, and then I just tell my bosses like, hey, this is the information I got, this is the direction I thought we should go in, and it was the wrong one. And then at the time when I was in construction, my boss was really good, so he's like, okay, I understand, let's just move on, let's find the fix for it. And I was like, okay, sure. Right. Because when they don't say something like that, then it gets toxic, right? It's just like, fuck, man, I don't even feel like appreciated doing this ambiguous work for you.
Yeah.
So it's rough. But yeah, enough work talk. Nothing much. I've been coasting. Working from home all this month because my parents are gone to Vietnam. It's been quite busy, so a lot of shit's happened at home. Taro had his tooth extracted, so he had a whole dental surgery I had to bring him in for. And be like, Taro, you're so expensive. And then I had to bring my niece to daycare, like not every morning, probably like half the week, like maybe like 2 or 3 days of the weekday. Just because my sister's not working those other days or whatever. So I've been helping her with that. That's kind of new. Like, do you realize how heavy kids are? They're fucking heavy. Like, even babies.
Why do you have to carry them?
Because she wants to be carried into daycare.
Oh, shit.
Well, she's still a baby. Like, she's still only like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Right. So if she were to walk, we would take like double the time it takes us to get her into daycare. And like, kids are fucking heavy. Like, I kind of respect parents more now, because like, she's only 25 pounds.
Oh yeah, to fucking carry them,
and then to
for
like
so
hold
long?
them it's not even replicable at the gym. Like, the way you hold them, I have never replicated that at the gym at all.
You know why? I heard this recently.
What?
Do you ever sit the baby on your hip?
I try to.
But I heard, the thing that I heard recently was that guys don't have that type of instinctive hip mobility or that stance for them to just hike up the baby and most of the baby's weight on your hips without you just completely standing lopsided.
I think it's a slight excuse though, but yeah. So I do know proportionally girls are stronger on the hips down and guys are stronger on the chest up. But my brother can hold his kids. My brother-in-law can hold the kid like no problem for longer durations than me. I'm holding them. I'm like, dude, this is fucking rough. She's so fucking heavy. It's like almost like hugging a 25-pound thing, like a rice bag. Let's say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say when you buy a big bag of flour.
Yeah, and then it's just so awkward to hold. But then you have to hold it a specific way too.
And it's the same with flour. You see flour on the outside, you don't want to get some of the shit on you.
Yeah, so mad respect to all the parents out there who has to do this all the fucking time, especially when their kids are whining and shit. And it probably sucks when their kids are actually like 5 or 6 year old and they still want to be carried. I was like, fuck. Oh my god,
I have to give my dad props for that. When I was younger, and I think I was probably 8. I say 8 for everything because all my memories are all blended together. But sometime under 10.
Yeah.
Above 5, under 10. We went to Disneyland and I had my dad carry me the entire fucking day. The entire day. Probably after 1 hour of getting in, I had him carry me the entire time. Like shoulder rides, piggyback rides, or just carrying me.
God damn.
Yeah.
I feel it now.
Pretty crazy.
I feel the pain. So now I see how hard it is for them. Like, I don't have to do as much as my like siblings have to do, and I already feel exhausted. The pain of carrying them around and shit. So mad respect to them.
Oh, I bet
for that. But yeah, anyways, also at home, our fucking fridge upstairs broke.
Oh shit, how?
Just the fridge part's not getting cold. I did the standard, reset the shit, unplug, replug. The freezer works. The freezer doesn't
look
work.
At the coolant and everything, and there's another liquid. I forgot the
refrigerant.
Isn't that the coolant?
Yeah.
The refrigerant. There's another liquid.
But that shit. Okay. Ideally, normal people shouldn't touch it because it's really toxic and it's also like really pressurized. So it could blow up if you try to like cut into it or anything or do anything funky. But also the fridge is like 12, 13, 14 years old already. And I just Googled it. It's like, yeah, that's average lifetime of a fridge. So then for me, I'm just like, fuck it, we need a new one. Like, I'm not gonna try to fix it. It's almost like if you have a TV and it lasted 10 years already and it breaks, you're kind of like, I'm not gonna try to fix it.
It's about time to get a new one.
You know what I mean? It's like you advertised, or let's say society advertised that it should only last this long, and it lasted that long. I'm not gonna be mad about it, right? Like if my TV broke down after 5 years, then I'd be kind of pissed, right? It's like, hey, I bought this 5 years ago. TVs usually last for at least 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So then for the fridge, it's been at least, I think, I want to say at least 14 years. So I'm like, I don't think it's worth fixing anyway. So
you're looking to buy a new fridge?
Yeah, right now I'm just cosplaying poor. So we have the tiny fridge downstairs, and then I put a cooler outside, and I just can't buy a lot of food anymore for a while so the thing is, I don't want to do it till my parents get back because they're coming back at the end of this month. Yeah. And my dad said he'll just buy one during Black Friday. I was like, that makes sense. Like, if the Black Friday deals, okay, Black Friday may or may not have a deal, but if there was going to be the cheapest price around this time of the year, it's probably Black Friday or Boxing Day, but we're not going to wait that long. Right? Yeah. So I was like, it makes sense. I'll wait 2 more weeks. He'll come back. We'll just go buy a fridge. So then, I had to like clean out the fridge, put a bunch of stuff in the cooler outside, hope it doesn't freeze, and then put a bunch of stuff in my fridge. And then, so that happened like just this week. So I'm still trying to like finish the food in the fridge. Like I'm trying to eat as much of the shit in there. Like I don't normally eat bread. You know how much bread I fucking ate this last couple of days? I was just like, someone's gotta fucking eat it, and no one's eating it.
How'd you eat it?
Just with peanut butter or like with meat.
Oh damn, like sandwiches?
Like, no, I would eat my normal meal plan and then I'd have a slice of bread and I'd eat that while I eat my normal shit. And then instead of
just toast, at least toast it or some
I'll toast it. I'll toast it, and then I'll just have that, and then you take a scoop of meat and you take a bite of bread.
Delicious. I love toast.
Yeah, but then I'm not used to that, right? Because I don't normally eat bread and shit for my meal plan stuff. So I just had to like fuck up my entire meal plan. Just be like, okay, all this shit that I normally have to buy to eat, I just have to not think about it and just finish everything in the fridge first before I like start buying small amounts of everything I usually have to buy. So it was kind of chaotic because I was like, I think the other day I was opening the fridge, just like, my egg's not cold. What the fuck? And I touched it around. I was like,
oh my god,
code.
That must have been. It's kind of scary.
I mean, I knew it happened kind of recent because like it wasn't warm yet. Like right now, if you go in my fridge, everything's like room temperature.
Oh yikes!
But when I was touching it, I was like, it felt a little bit cold, but it could be like, oh, did someone open the fridge too long? It's at the edge and it gets like warmer faster. But no, it was completely dead after like a couple attempts. I tried resetting it and shit. I was just like, I think this is over.
Pretty nice that it's cold outside though.
Yeah, I just threw my cooler out. Hopefully the things don't freeze in there, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it'll freeze.
I'm just hoping. Like I was thinking I'll just bring that cooler in every evening and take it out in the morning. But I'm getting lazy, so I was like, I don't know if I want to do it now. Because like the thing is, like when I leave it in my house in the evening, it gets warm so fast. Yeah, I'm like, I think I should just leave it out there and just hope it doesn't freeze completely. But I think most of the stuff I put in there is okay. Like I guess, like most of the stuff I put in there are like sauces or like whatever that my parents usually make a lot of. So I was like, should be okay. Yeah. And then everything else is perishable. I'm just trying to finish now. So that was like super chaos. I was like, damn, it kind of sucks actually being responsible at home and shit. Because usually my parents are home, I just be like, oh, you guys don't have work anymore. You guys deal with this shit.
Bye bye.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna go to work. You guys figure out all this stuff. Oh, Taro needs this. Go figure it out for him. But now it's just me. So I was like, Sag.
Man.
Yeah, I can't wait till they come back though, because then we'll have to deal with all this shit.
Adulting, dude.
It's rough. Other than that, I think what else? I came back from Mexico. Did I even talk about my trip?
No, you haven't. I randomly remembered it while I was driving to volleyball one day, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell Alvin. And I happened to see you that day.
Yeah. I think so. We went to Riviera Maya with Sunwing. It was pretty cool. I mean, the nice part is that they just have direct flight, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it, I was like, dude, if you want to go to Cancun and you don't want to book like with one of these vacation packages, it takes you like almost 24 hours to get there.
Yeah.
It's some fucking dumb shit where you had to like fly to Toronto and Toronto somewhere else, and there it's just really weird.
Western fly to Vancouver first?
No, it's just Edmonton to Cancun.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was sick. The resort it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
The food was not as good as I thought.
Oh.
I've never been to a resort before, so I don't know if the food should be better or not. But when I was on a cruise, the food was a lot better than on this resort. It wasn't like bad, but it was just like I felt like everything was under seasoned. It wasn't like super amazing or anything. I was actually hesitant to eat any of the raw shit.
Oh really? I fucking went ham.
I did on the later days of my trip, not in the beginning, because like if I get the shits in the beginning, it's gonna be a really bad trip. I was hesitant to drink milk, which I also
really
I regretted, because on the last day I was like, oh, I'm gonna drink as much as I can, and it was pretty delicious.
Have you ever heard of cream capped milk?
No, what is that?
Google it. Put it on this screen. It's essentially high fat milk.
Oh, cream capped milk?
Or cream top milk, sorry. Same thing.
Oh, okay.
All these bottles in this picture, or all these bottles in these pictures, they all have like a layer of thick cream that's at the top of the milk.
Do you have to like, I assume you shake it every time you pour?
Yeah, you would shake it, and it can be, if you don't shake it enough, kind of like lumpy, because essentially the cream is the fat that's in the milk that they didn't take out.
Oh.
And some people fucking love it because it just tastes like cream, or like slightly buttery or stuff like that.
Wait, have you had this often? Or?
I haven't. I'm lactose intolerant, but I've seen people have it, and I've seen my cousins have it in BC, and they fucking love it. They're like, if you love milk, you'll love this. This is like milk on steroids.
I know I would like it. The thing is, it's not readily available. Like right now, whole milk in Canada is 3.25%.
Yes.
I think anything more costs significantly.
Yes.
And I drink milk every day. So it's kind of a price issue more than anything. Like if I could afford it, like I mean I could afford it, but if I could choose to consistently buy it, and take that luxury, then I would probably love it. Because I do think it's kind of shitty that they remove so much of it, but I assume it's for the same reasons that you just said. Like the whole lumpiness is probably something people are deterred by.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Like I always thought it was the whole sugar industry shitting on the fat industry that caused them to remove so much. But if it's because of the lumps, then I would also dislike that.
Yeah. It seems like it's really good though.
Yeah, because the last glass of milk I had was fucking sour at home.
Because
my milk was starting to go curdle and shit.
Ew.
And I already made a protein shake, so I was like, bottoms up.
Did you shit yourself after?
No, that's fine. No, you know it's not like because it's already what's the term? What's the thing where they heat it up to a certain temperature?
Oh, it's already. But they do it to eggs too, right?
Yeah. No, they don't do it to eggs.
Oh. Pasteurized?
Pasteurized, yes. Because it's already pasteurized.
What's the word for eggs? It's the same thing for eggs. It's the same idea.
Oh, yeah. It's the same idea. It's just not the heating up part. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they do pasteurize it. But I think it's like they wash the outside layer. Yeah, but because the milk's pasteurized, from what I was told, it technically going sour, it's still drinkable. It's just unpleasant to drink.
It's just turning into cheese. Is that it?
Yeah, it's like you won't... Ideally... If you have a relatively sanitary fridge, and you actually close the cap and shit, like you're not gonna get sick from it because there's no additional bacteria in it. It's just turning into a different state.
It just tastes kind of.
It just tastes really fucking weird and bad.
Tastes kind of nar.
Yeah, so I had some good old sour protein drink. Yeah, I chugged that shit real fast. I was like, I'm never. Yeah,
that's crazy. I would have dumped it for sure, 100%.
I can't waste a good shake. I can't. But anyways, back to the resort. Yeah, it was fun. The one thing I obviously stupidly didn't realize, all these resorts are made for alcoholics.
Oh yeah. And
I was like, I don't even drink that much. Like when I order drinks, sometimes I tip the person, like give them $1.
A peso?
and they fucking load it with alcohol.
No, $1. You're right. They use USD.
Well, at the resort
for tips. Yeah.
So I'll order like, you know, a drink for me and Joyce, and then I'll just like give them a small tip or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then they just load it with alcohol. And I'm just like, I just wanted this to taste good. I didn't want it to get fucking hammered. But yeah, they fucking load up the drinks and shit. So like at some point I started being like, could I get a virgin pina colada? Because it was like,
well, pina coladas are typically made with alcohol.
Yeah. So I was like, could I get a virgin one of that? Just don't put the fucking rum in. Because every time they do, they just load it up for me. I was like, I
swear they water it down.
Probably. But I don't drink all that much, and I don't care for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we still had drinks and stuff. We want to try like all the different cocktails and shit that they had there. But yeah, the whole resort situation is built for alcoholics. So I realized from that, I was like, oh, maybe this is not. I mean, I'm glad I tried it, but I was like, maybe this is not our thing, just because we don't drink all that much. And there's like a lot of kids there too, so it's like maybe it's more of like a family or you're an alcoholic type of thing.
Yeah,
because like a family,
or you're just really no. You could just be really into relaxing. You could use all the amenities like. I want to sleep in today. I'm gonna get a massage.
I mean, you have to pay for that and stuff.
Don't you get like? No. Oh,
yeah.
The last time I went to one, I got 2 free massages, and everyone gets 2 free massages. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Well, maybe I picked not the right place.
Yeah.
Or, in my opinion, still, I just think that like the food wasn't that amazing, and it's like an alcoholic's paradise. If I just got like a normal hotel and just like went out and bought food and bought whatever I want, I think it would have been just cheaper. As good. Like maybe cheaper, maybe not. I'm not sure, but it would have been like the food would have been for sure better, in my opinion, and I would have just enjoyed the things I wanted to. So like the cost of alcohol would have been replaced by cost of something else. Right? So it would have been the same price, but I just wouldn't have all this other stuff. Because like the excursions are actually quite expensive though.
They're like $200, right?
Yeah, it's like most of them are at least like $80 to $100 USD per person. So it's like about 130 is like about 100 to 130 CAD is like the cheapest any one excursion is.
Yeah, but the excursions are also half a day most of the time, right?
Yeah, so we only went on one. So we went on this one. We went to Tulum. It's like one of the ancient Mayan thing. And then went to a cenote, which is like the cave thingy.
Oh, do you have pictures of the cenote you went to?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere. I can show you after. And then we went to a lagoon to snorkel.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was just all like a one day thing. It's like pick up at like 10 a.m. and you get back at like 6 p.m. type of thing. Like that was really fun. And then just relaxing was actually pretty fun too, pretty chilled. But yeah, food, I wished it was better. So surprisingly, because that hotel chain is owned by I think like an Italian company or something, or an Italian person, the pasta was actually pretty good.
Oh, sick.
But like the meat,
what pasta did you get?
Which is whatever they had, they just keep making them.
But what flavors?
Oh, my favorite was this like squid ink one.
Whoa!
But that was at like the restaurant, like the restaurant there, but it was like free for guests and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like every day or every meal they had like 4 different pasta. So it might be like pasta and tomato sauce, and then one in like cream sauce with some other thing like meat or some type of vegetable.
Yeah.
And then different types. So it's like rigatoni, linguine, shit like that. But surprisingly, they cook pasta very well there, in my opinion. Like it was like the perfect doneness and shit.
What's your favorite type of pasta?
My favorite? It's probably linguine because that's pretty close to pho.
Oh, interesting.
And I think it's the perfect noodle type thing to like capture because I feel like pasta is rarely the star, even though it's a great thing. It's usually a substrate for something else, right? So it's like pasta and some Alfredo sauce. Usually the Alfredo sauce is the star and the pasta is the carrier for the star.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
There is a reason to use certain types of pastas for certain types of
just the amount they can pick up the sauce, right? Or how they like combine well with the sauce itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like linguine. It's pretty delicious. I've tried to really dive deep on the spaghetti, but I've been disappointed a couple times, so I've been going away from it.
Man, I swear regular like tomato spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
Tomato sauce spaghetti tastes very mediocre everywhere else, but how my mom makes it, in my opinion. Because I feel like it's literally just tomato sauce. But the way my mom makes it, she makes maybe it's more like bolognese.
Okay.
The way my mom makes it, so it tastes so much better. Yeah. There's like meat, mushrooms, so much other stuff. It's not.
Is it the sauce or the spaghetti?
The sauce.
Yeah. Okay, yes. That's huge. No, I think Asian people actually do make it really well. Because my friends' parents would put hot dogs, beef, and mushroom and shit, and then the tomato sauce, and it's always so good. The Filipino one's not bad. It's just a little sweet, but
I agree. And they use banana ketchup, right?
The problem I have is that they don't emphasize enough of the spaghetti at that point. Because they just all kind of cook it together at that point. Yeah. And then the spaghetti gets overdone. Whereas like I like the ones where they're separate.
Yes.
And then ideally you heat up the sauce, you put some pasta in, you mix it real fast, and then it's done.
I agree.
Or, you know, like living at home, we just fucking put it together, throw it in the microwave real quick. That still not as bad as like it being fully cooked together, because I feel like it just gets it way too soft.
I agree. I like it when there's a bit of a bite and you're like, ooh, you just made this pasta, hey?
Yeah. I feel like that would be the only drawback I have with the Filipino one, other than it being a little bit too sweet. But for my liking, it's not bad. But the pasta itself is not emphasized hard enough.
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, the resort food was good. Excursions was okay. It was fun. The resort itself was good. I mean, we just chilled on the beach. There wasn't too much we could do. It was like kind of windy throughout our entire part of the trip.
Oh shit.
So we couldn't go on any kayaks or anything like that.
Oh, that sucks. What was the temperature?
Well, it was warm. It was like 20 something. It was good. It was good temperature. It was just like windy.
You know something that I fucked up on the last time I went to a resort?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna start going on long walks along the beach by myself at night, so it's really relaxing.
It's so dark, isn't it?
Well, the moonlight is out, and it's actually pretty nice, and they have like little lanterns out there.
Oh, I see.
It's super nice. And this one, and I did it a couple of times, but I would walk along the boardwalk, and this one time I was like, let's just walk along, or I would walk directly along the shore, like have my feet in the water. This one time I was walking along the sand, and I just kept burying my feet in the sand while I was walking, and I decided to go sit on one of the lawn chairs or the beach chairs and just dig my feet in the sand and lay there for a bit. And eventually I was kind of getting bit by mosquitoes, so I was like, okay, I'm actually just gonna leave. And when I woke up the next day, I had all these little pink dots, like swollen little dots all over my feet and up the sides of my ankles, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It looks like I contracted something or some shit. And that's when I learned what sand mites are.
Yeah, sand mites. Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. I also got bit a couple times there, but not as crazy as what you did, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually not a phobia, but I feel like half the time I'm in the ocean, it's fucking wild. Like, it's like wind blowing like crazy. It sounds so fucking scary. I'm just like, okay. And then the other half, it's like calm, and that's nice. I get it. When it's calm, like, especially in a lagoon where the waves aren't as crazy. Yeah. It's like nice and chill. You just go and swim a little bit. It's nice and relaxing. But I swear, like 50% of the time I've been near or like on a beach of an ocean, it's like fucking wild. Like, wind's going crazy. You go in the water, the riptide's insane. Or it's not insane. Like, I can still swim, but it's like, oh, this is how people die from going out here. Like, you could feel the riptide and shit. And so for me, it's like, it's not a full on fear, but it's always like, shit, this is not like, it's like a storybook when it's calm. But it's only like that sometimes. Other times, it's like a fucking monster out there. Because I think when we were in the Philippines, we on one of the nights we were in a cabin near the next to the beach. Yeah. And that night was so windy, it sounded like fucking something was like hitting our room the whole time.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
Yeah, I was telling Joyce, I was like, dude, like, maybe because I like live in Alberta, but I'm scared as fuck right now.
Hold me, Joyce.
No, she was scared too. Like, dude, this is fucking loud as shit and scary as fuck.
And then when you feel your building shake a little, that is scary.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have a phobia for it because like I have swum in the ocean. It's fine. I've chilled in there before. It's cool too. But like I said, I see the contrast, the juxtaposition between the two sides of it, right?
Yeah.
It could be nice and calm and beautiful and storybook like, and then it could just be like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Especially if the moon's like not really there, or if it's very cloudy. It's also like super dark too.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's just a vast blanket of darkness.
Yeah, and you're like, oh fuck, I could just die right now.
I can just walk out there and no one will see me ever again.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared of it, but I'm cautious. I respect it, let's just say. I respect the ocean. I do not think I am any bolder or stronger.
Makes sense. Yeah. You know that if you're in a riptide, you need to swim
parallel to the shore and shit, yeah.
I would imagine that even if you know that, when you're in a riptide, you get tossed this way and that way. And what if you just don't know what's parallel to the shore at that point?
Yeah. I mean, I think the scariest...
Because you're underwater, so I'd imagine to a degree, it's probably hard to differentiate like where the shore even is, where you're located, what's up, what's down.
I think the hardest part is when the panic sets in, because normally for most people the panic never sets in because you're always touching the ground because you're closer to the beach. But as soon as you lose that ground, and then as soon as you lose control of where you can go, and then the panic sets in, then it's like, I don't know, I feel like you're gonna lose a lot of energy just flailing and trying to figure something out. And then by the time you figure out, you might be a lot more tired than you should be to like go parallel to the shore.
I agree.
Because like when I went to Hawaii, a lot of Joyce's relatives was like, oh, like watch out, like there's places you just can't swim in, or you shouldn't swim in. Like you might see some random other people do it, but you shouldn't. It's just not good.
Because of the riptides?
Yeah. Just because like, I don't know, like to them they respect it so much, so they only really go swim in certain places, or like if you're a really strong swimmer or surfer or something, then you actually go. But I think most of the locals, I think they would just rather go to like a lagoon. Yeah. Where pretty much there's like a little barrier, right? So like there's some wave, but it's not as intense and nothing can really pull you out. I feel like that's probably where they go most, like just chill and relax.
Yeah, I would imagine everyone that lives there as a local, they've heard or seen a story of somebody getting pulled out. Yeah, and it's probably really scary.
Yeah, and to them it's like, it's not worth it to like do what kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's kind of cool that they know all that shit. And to me, like, yeah, I've lived my whole life in a landlocked area, right? So it's like, I don't really experience the ocean as much.
It would be so nice, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for your sinus and shit, I assume. No. I assume it's good for you in general, but... Because I feel like all of civilization, people have always lived near the water. It's actually very rare to not live near water. So maybe not an ocean, but like...
Well, rivers. We live by a river.
Kind of. Like, I feel like what we have as a river is kind of like a baby river.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I think
no one actually really goes near the river, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, like...
It's not like Bow River.
Yeah, like other people actually live near like much bigger and stronger rivers, and they know how to deal with it, and they know how to live next to it. Yeah. Or like lakes, right? Like you look at Sylvan Lake. Geographically, it's not a big lake. Yeah. But you can't see the other side from one side, or you can barely see the other side. So like it's really big, right? Like that to us, true. Right?
And the whole town kind of revolves around it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's actually more weird that we don't, or we have places that don't live that close to that waterway.
That's true.
Yeah, because I think most of the population lives near some type of coastline.
Yeah, if you see how the population of Canada is dispersed, everyone's by the oceans and by the border. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we're kind of like middle of nowhere kind of thing. Yeah, even Calgary too a little bit, but Calgary has the mountains, which kind of makes up for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Water's the best way to travel for shipping and shit. So,
what was your favorite part about your trip?
Let me think. I liked just playing in the water near the beach, just chilling. You know, going around with waves. It's pretty much like a wave pool, but like live. Like nature wise, it was fun just chilling with Joyce, hanging out there. Nothing that special. It was a more relaxing trip, which I've done a bit of a bit more relaxing trip this year compared to previous years. Because Morocco was a tour, so I didn't have to plan shit, and then Philippines was Joyce's family stuff, so I don't have to plan shit either. So it's been a lot more chilled for me this year, which is good. It's nice to see both, but I am itching to do like a trip where I can just explore a bit more.
Yeah, where would that be?
I always thought about that, so it would be the U.S., Europe, or certain parts of Asia. Right, like if you kind of think about it, so like certain parts of Asia, as in like very specific areas of Asian countries or specific countries. So like Japan, Korea, I feel like I would not really have any fear of just walking around.
Yeah.
Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, let's say those three for sure. Singapore also.
Oh, Singapore. Oh, not Singapore. I was thinking Kuala Lumpur is really pretty.
Yeah. But like for example, not all of Malaysia is like that.
Yeah.
Right. So for example, I would say all of Japan, I'd be pretty comfortable walking around. All of Korea, I'd be pretty comfortable walking. All of South Korea, I'd be pretty comfortable walking around. All of Hong Kong, all of Singapore. But like Vietnam, like I wouldn't be as comfortable.
Yes.
Thailand, maybe only certain areas I would be comfortable, and after that I would be less comfortable.
Where wouldn't you be comfortable?
I mean, I assume like outside of the normal touristy areas. Outside of that, I would be a bit more hesitant, a bit more watchful.
I can see that.
Same with everywhere else in Asia. I just feel like certain like major city, I feel like generally safe for tourists if it's like the major city, but the rest of the country not as safe.
Yeah.
But Europe, almost all of Western European countries, very easy just to walk around and shit. Just to walk around, explore, take a bus anywhere, you won't be worried. Whereas like if I took a bus in Thailand, I mean, outside of like very central area, I'd be kind of sketched out.
Oh yeah, someone's gonna try and steal your liver
or some shit like that, right? Even in Vietnam, like outside of certain areas or without my parents, I'd be like, I don't know if I should be just taking a bus, right? Whereas like in Korea or Japan, Australia, including Singapore, maybe some major cities.
Really, Australia too?
Yeah, Australia's pretty chill. It's literally like Canada.
Oh.
I mean, will you take a bus or not there? I'm not sure. Like their transit's okay, I think. Like when I went back then, it was all in cars, right? Because the transit wasn't that great, but just a city where you can just like go and explore without worrying as much. And I feel like that's actually not a lot of the world now that I think about it.
That's true. A lot of the world's gone to shit. Like
all of North America except for Mexico, so that's one. Most of Australia, I think so. The places I spoke about in Asia. And then Western Europe. And then I think any other countries other than those, I don't think I would. Or I'd be a little sketched out too.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't do Russia?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Any of the stands, I wouldn't just walk around by myself.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know the language, I don't know the customs, I don't know what I should and should not be doing. Like, what if I'm doing something that's super disrespectful, right?
Oh, that's true.
But like,
and you go to jail and fucking like Canadian embassy has to fight really hard to bring you back.
Yeah, some fucked up shit like that. Because like if you're in a touristy place, they kind of all are touristy anyways. Yeah. They upcharge for that reason too, right? But like an entire city that's like very chill about that stuff, that's different, right? Like for example, in Barcelona, I was like chilled, just go anywhere, right? Take the train, go to any place, take a bus, go to any place. I wouldn't ever really be that worried. But yeah, certain places or certain other countries, I would be. But yeah, so I'm itching to go on a vacation where I can just walk around, explore and shit, instead of like kind of like the tours kind of type of thing. Like the tours is nice, you don't have to think about it, but you don't have that much freedom. Like you just go wherever the tour goes.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks sometimes. So how I see it, at least.
What would you say was your first place you would go, then, or your next place you would want to go?
We've been thinking about for Europe. We're thinking about Portugal.
Oh, that would be so nice.
And then it was Asia. I think Joyce was saying Bali. But I mean, it'll be the same situation as our previous trips, which is why I didn't want to really go to Bali. It'd be more of like a resort type of thing, resort town, all that shit. Not really like walking around, taking transit, exploring the city. I was thinking about Hong Kong because one of our friends going, but the time frame she's going, I can't go. So I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna go then.
Who's our friend that's going?
The one with baby.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah, so she's going in end of March, beginning of April, and I think what they told me from the work is that they're busiest during April is when they want me there like the whole time. So I was like, oh, that's kind of reasonable. You know what I mean? It's like there's 12 months in a year. You're saying one of the months is busy. You should be there the entire time. That's not like that bad. So then I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to figure something else out. But it kind of sucks because I usually like to go on a trip like earlier in the year. But I guess May isn't too bad.
I think that's really good in some places. It's just when spring is still kind of around.
Like
it's not too hot.
So right now I only get 3 weeks, quote unquote 3 weeks of vacation.
Why is it quote unquote?
Oh, because like I can move stuff around and I can extend that a bit. Ideally, if I had it my way, I would go on a trip in February, one in May, and then one in end of September. Those I think are the best times. But then if I can only do the one in May, then it'll be May, end of September, and then October or November. Like those two would be really close together.
Yeah.
Right. Because those are my favorite traveling times because you beat out all the rush and it's not as cold in most places. Right. So you beat out all the travel rush of people like families with kids and stuff, which is during June, July, August, and December. And then the September to November is kind of good because it's not that cold yet. And then the May or the February is kind of cold, but in certain areas it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then if you can't do February, then April's the next best. And these all tie in with holidays. So April would be with Good Friday. February would have been with Family Day. September would be with the Truth and Reconciliation Day. Or October would be with
Not
Thanksgiving.
every company recognizes Truth and Reconciliation.
I personally would really like to reconcile the differences of the past, so I believe in it.
Unfortunately, my company does not. And I thought it was kind of funny. One of my managers wrote in our chat and was like, "We don't care about them." And my boss was like, all right, we can't make those kind of jokes here.
Wait, you don't have any natives in your company?
Unfortunately not.
So you guys have a DEI issue.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so a little bit later than I would hope for my next trip. I mean, other than Mexico, do you have anything else planned? I feel like you've been wanting to do a travel, but you haven't done it in a long time.
I've been wanting to go on a solo trip, but I haven't put any work into planning it. And then every single time I think about going on vacation, I'm like, okay, but should you go on vacation or should you put in more time towards the business that you're trying to build?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So like,
I mean, it's cool though. You have this passion and drive for it. I feel like I don't have, like, it's not that I don't have that. I just don't want to create that opportunity. Maybe like I want something like that, but I just don't see the opportunity, or I'm too much of a realist in some of that.
I feel like you have to look for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And almost create it yourself. Because having your own business or being an entrepreneur isn't convenient. And it's not something that just falls into your lap, or it's not something that just kind of comes along your way so easily.
Yeah. I mean, the other like struggle I kind of have too is, it's not a complete struggle, but I know like Joyce's family has a family business and stuff, and I never know the future of that. Like I don't know, like she obviously has worked in it like for her whole life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's gonna keep pursuing that, right? And then if she does, it's like, okay, at what point do I say I'll help you with this, rather than I'm gonna go find some other random shit to do.
Right.
I'm not saying as a couple or a pair, you both can't have your own entrepreneurial things. But if she does really want to pursue it, I would like to help her with that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, of how I like it being done.
Have you talked to her about that?
Yeah. I mean, I just told her like, hey, like if this is what you want to do, you should do it, and if you don't, do something else. And then if you want to do it, you should just, do the best as you can and try to actually do it. Right? Yeah. But I also think I don't have the fucking passion or aspirations for it as much.
I can see that. I feel like for most people, if you did have the passion, then you would naturally move in that direction.
Yeah.
Or you would feel that tug all the time.
Yeah. I only feel it slightly sometimes, not all the time.
I feel like I'm wasting my life away if I don't do something like this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I think some people are just naturally drawn to that, and others not as much. Because like I feel like there's a lot of people who I think a bit of it is very glorified in media.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's a very difficult thing, and I feel like the success rate is not as high as people would hope. But that's just the truth and the reality to it. Because it is hard. It's like it's more than a 12-hour day job. Like,
I think it depends on what your intentions are with it.
Yeah.
Whether it's something because you're like, oh, I don't want to work for the man anymore.
Yeah.
Then that might not be the right intentions, because I personally feel like my intentions are quite good for this.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind if I work all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I just want to do something where I feel passionate about it and where I feel like all my effort comes to something that I can see results from.
Yes.
And that there's no ceiling towards what I can do or my creativity and what I put my efforts towards.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I were to stay in corporate the whole time, there's always a ceiling.
Yes. Yeah. That is true. Yeah. No, I think just sometimes people are too frivolous when they talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think it's like it should be more seriously taken. As in, like, hey, this isn't just a whatever endeavor.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, if you actually want to do it, it's like, this is how much you have to actually commit to it.
Yeah.
I feel like I have that major commitment issues. I was like, fuck, do I want to commit this much into it? I'm not sure. I'm like on the fence on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know about that. But a part of me knows it's eventually the right thing to do, but I don't know.
Eventually? What do you mean by eventually?
Like I said, like, even if I were to stay in consulting, I've always wanted to do my own consulting if I were to do it, so I can like pick up jobs that I want to do and work like my durations, right?
Yeah.
Because I've always imagined that's the ideal work situation where you can work a lot for a certain duration, say to finish a project or something, and then depending on how much that gives you, then decide on the next thing.
That's true.
Or as it moves on, right? That would be the ideal consultant lifestyle.
Yeah.
Is that as you need money, you pick up more jobs, and then as it slows down, then you just live a different life.
I would say so. But I feel like another thing is that it depends on what industry you go to for when your life can slow down.
Yeah, that's true too.
And how you build it.
Yeah.
For if you can step away, if ever.
Yeah. I mean, I think not a lot of people think about the step away part too.
I would like to step away a decent amount eventually.
Yeah. Like from your business, right? You're saying like, yeah, you want to grow to a certain point where you can step away from it. I feel like that's what I'm saying. I feel like people don't think about that as much. They don't plan for it as much. And they also don't know that, like, I don't know much about business, but I also assume at some point, if you want to step away, but you still want to be successful, you may have to take some different type of cut, right?
Yeah.
As in, like, you have to hire a manager or something and pay them a little bit more and take from your cut just so you can still have this thing thriving, right?
And you can trust them enough to make sure your business doesn't go underwater.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think that person should be fairly paid, right? Like, if they're bringing in something for you, they should be
like a percentage, not even a set wage, I'd imagine at that point.
Yeah. That's something I think maybe some people don't think about. I'm not sure. Like, I barely think about this recently, just because I don't know. I have no idea why. I feel like I should be, but a part of me always just wants to find random cool projects, and that's all I want to do.
I mean, whatever you feel like, right?
Yeah, like my dream scenario is just to do non-stop DIY projects.
That could be your thing.
I am a doer, man. You know, you hire me, I'll 3D print random shit for you.
You could be a 3D printing consultant, a custom 3D printing factory.
That would be sick if I was in the specific industry. That would be very sick.
You can make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anything else you want to add on? We're about time. Anything else? Let me think.
Do you think it's too early to celebrate Christmas?
No, I think it's fine.
Fuck yeah. I was literally thinking, okay, last year I baked some stuff.
Yeah.
And put like baked goods in a box.
Yeah.
This year I want to do the same thing, but I'm like, holy shit. Last year I just did it on a whim because I was like, I don't want to go to sleep. Like, it's late in the night, but like I just want to bake. And so I was like, hey, let's bake a box of goodies for like all the like friends and family. And this year I'm like, holy shit, that was so fun. So this year I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to actually plan it out. And so today I was thinking about all the things I'm going to bake for it, and it's gotten me so excited. And I'm like, oh, what if I just do that this weekend? But I'm like, okay, maybe that's too early. That's way too early for Christmas treats.
Yeah, I mean, to give out stuff, I think December is usually the minimum, right? Like December 1st, right?
You're right.
But then to celebrate, or not to celebrate, but to set up for Christmas, like decorations, all that shit. I think people usually say wait till after Remembrance Day. I say fuck it. I was like, I mean, if you want to do it early, you can do it early. It's your call.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, some people get really into Christmas and stuff.
I really want to get into it. I love Christmas.
I like it for like a month and a half, I think. I think for like December and half of November, I get really into it. And afterwards, I'm like, this is enough. This is good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like ready for next year.
After Christmas, I'm like, these next few days until New Year's, they don't exist. Everyone's just decompressing and disconnecting. And then after New Year's, after that, fucking start your new year. Don't do Christmas still. None of that.
Yeah, I mean, some people get super excited into it. I'm not as much because we don't decorate anything at home anymore. We used to have a tree, but ever since everyone moved out, it's like, fuck it. It would just be me who will be setting up the tree. I'm like, fuck.
And then when you take it down, you're like, fuck this shit. It was not worth it.
Yeah, so I was like, no thanks. So I just got a little tiny plastic one. I could just 3D print another really small one too. So that could be a thing too. But yeah, other than that, it's not. We're not too crazy about it. I mean, I am going to be busy for December. I think I realized I have like one Christmas thing every weekend.
Yeah.
Just like with work and family and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I think this year our friends miss with my other group of friends is going to be in Calgary. So I'm going to figure that out too.
Exciting.
Yeah. So it should be fun. I haven't done any gift shopping yet. So.
Me neither.
Because I don't have too much this year. I just have the white elephants with our friend groups. So I got 2 of those. And then me and my siblings, I think we agreed not to give gifts anymore. Especially after they got kids and shit.
Makes sense.
And then my opinion, maybe not theirs, but I think they would appreciate money more than things.
I would imagine.
And I've talked to some other parents about it, and they're like, yes, we do appreciate money more. So I'm just going to give my nieces and nephews money.
And then their parents are going to be like, we're going to hold on to that for you.
Yes. Oh, because they're all like less than 3, right? So it only makes sense. But I think they probably appreciate that more. So I'm going to be like, that's my cop out. I'm just going to give them money.
No, you know what you buy them? You buy them stocks.
No, I'm just going to give them money.
Buy them.
That's
Get
me.
Them compounded interest.
No, that's me choosing what they get. They could use this money to buy whatever the fuck they want. If they want to buy stocks with the money, they can do that too.
You're right.
But at least they're getting straight cash. Remember, cash is king.
You're right.
So, so that's easy on that part. On the gift part, I'm just gonna give them straight cash. And then I just have to figure out a gift for Joyce. That's the only one I have to figure out this year.
Do you guys usually do like a wish list every year?
We usually just tell each other what we want.
Oh, perfect.
But I don't really want anything. Actually, every year I kind of don't really want anything that specific.
I know. I feel like as the years go by, if you want something, you'll buy it yourself, right?
Or I'll print it myself.
Yeah. So eventually, like, there's nothing really you would want from somebody else.
Yeah, it's tough. I have to think about something. I'm struggling for the white elephant too because I want to buy something I want too, right? I was like, what the fuck do I want? Tell me
what you get. I'm gonna try and steal it.
No, I mean, I feel like the stuff I get is probably super obvious, and
it's custom made, has your name on it,
and probably no one else wants it too.
Like, oh, look at that! Is your name Jorge? I guess not. Looks like it would suit me quite well.
Oh, look at this pack of 100 business cards as a white elephant gift. Oh, what a surprise. There's something already printed on all 100 business cards.
Oh, is that my number? Oh my god.
Oh, is that my name? My email? Oh, well, someone else can have it.
Is that my toothbrush?
It'd be a waste if someone takes it, but someone else could definitely take it.
Are those custom retainers?
Just shit like that. Oh, are these cables exactly the ones I wanted this year? With random devices that are
and
obscure?
They only fit my computer?
Wait, oh, is that protein the flavor I like the most?
How did you know?
Yeah. It would be hilarious if I just bought filament. Just 3D print filament. Just fucking, oh, I didn't know no one else had a 3D printer. I thought this was a common hobby.
Well, it looks like I'll have to take it off your hands.
Yeah, I have some ideas.
Some baby stuff would probably be good, hey?
No, fuck it. Just get something you want. That's what I tell everyone all the time.
You're right.
I was like, get something you want, but just don't get something that you really want because you'll be disappointed. Like my idea is always like get yourself a toy and then wrap it and put it as white elephant. And then if you don't get it, then it'll be like, it is what it is.
You're right. Get someone a Tanga. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you could. I mean, for you, it wouldn't really apply because you couldn't really use it.
You're right.
But I guess if you had a partner to use it for, then that would work.
You're right.
But yeah, I'll think of some stuff and maybe
actually baby stuff would be pretty good.
I'm just hoping there's some good Black Friday deals. I've been so lazy, especially with Amazon being so great now. I just shop on there instead.
Yeah.
I just give up looking anywhere else. Or if I find something I really want, then I start.
There's also a Canada Post delay. So if you buy anything online, it might be delayed for a while.
Amazon doesn't do that to me. They usually get like DHL or some like Intellicom or something and send shit to me. I have not gotten a Canada Post package in so long. It's always been some other random private company. So it works out for me, I think, for now. All right. Anyways, that was our recent catch up. Nothing else, I guess, on the podcast. Yeah, tune in, you guys. Maybe we'll do something special this year for Christmas. I'm not sure. I was kind of stressed last year with the music. We'll see what we do this year if we do anything special. I don't think so, though, but we'll figure something.
Let's see if we can think of something.
Yeah. Maybe we'll send out Christmas cards. If you guys post your address on YouTube,
we'll send you a JV clip. Yes.
Just imagine just a bunch of random addresses to fucking nowhere.
Yeah. You get requests from fucking Japan and random places. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, guys? I'll be like, you know what? How many stamps do I need? Because I'm snail mailing this shit.
Just glue the entire roll to the thing.
Yeah. That'd be fucking chaotic. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.